Some of you may have read in the TTR this morning the feature on champion 2 and 3-year-old Too Darn Hot. You would not find a stallion with a more elite pedigree than Too Darn Hot, and overnight this young sire claimed his first Group 1 winner in the Northern Hemisphere with 2-year-old filly Fallen Angel. A key point to take from the article: Too Darn Hot has had 3 individual group winners, 4 group wins, and a Group 1 winner from just his first crop, which in comparison is more than his breed-shaping sire, Debawi, at the same stage of his career. Gay, we have a handful of Too Darn Hots in the stable, including the $1 million filly out of Enhibar, who made it to a course proper jump out last Friday, which is very similar to a trial for the 2-year-olds. From what we have seen of the Too Darn Hots at this early stage, what would you say are their best attributes?
Speed, absolute speed, and beautifully conformed. Fabulous big strong shoulders and whopping big rumps. So they're what I call the perfect bookend. Lovely front and lovely back end. Great strength, great speed, great precocity. And Adrian will confirm this when he speaks to you. The fillies that we've seen in the stable, every single one of them can gallop, and really gallop. They're just lovely. They're precocious, they're pretty, they're beautifully, their conformation is just gorgeous. I can't think of any better stallion than investing in Too Darn Hot.
Too Darn Hot's extremely well named. He's probably the hottest prospect to get on the shuttle roster for some time. He's a champion 2-year-old, he's a champion 3-year-old. He's by one of the most prolific stallions in the world in Debawi, and he's out of a Group 1 winning mare, who's out of a Group 1 winning mare, who's out of a Group 1 winning mare. It's a pedigree that is phenomenal. His race record's quite outstanding, and we're super excited about what we're hearing out of Europe, who they're on the track up there. They're now racing as 2-year-olds, and not least what we're hearing out of our own stable at Godolphin. Too Darn Hot, while he's not a huge horse, he's a sort of an average size horse. He's a cookie cutter type stallion in that they're very similar across the board. There's not a lot of dissimilarity amongst them, and I think that's a very good sign in a stallion. Debawi, as I mentioned before, is a sire sensation, and I haven't had a lot of exposure to them as a breed, but very excited about what we have in Too Darn Hot in our yard and what we've seen grow up on the farms at Godolphin. Consistently, we've heard that we think they're going to be fairly precocious. They've got some good attitude about them, which we think is a positive thing. They're very keen, they're very quick learners, and they adapt very quickly. So they're all positive signs, and now we've just got to get them to the racecourse.
There is a 2-year-old Too Darn Hot filly in the stable at present, out of the winning Sepoy mare Lusitania, who is the half-sister to champion 3-year-old Alingi, and the dam of Beneteau, Slice of Paradise. Since profiling this filly back in May, she has really gone ahead the right way, and this morning she put in her best gallop to date. Adrian, this filly is all bone and muscle, and when it comes to her work on the track, she means business.
Yeah, she certainly does, Claudia, and I think that's why we actually chose to preview her back in early May when we did, which is still quite early in the 2-year-old season in terms of their education. So she was already showing some promising signs at that point, which we thought was a good opportunity to showcase that. So she's finished that campaign with a jump out, gone out, had a spell, and now she's back in building on the back of that foundation. She looks really well, and as Gay said, sort of traits that we've seen across a number of the Too Darn Hot progeny. Very, very early stage, I must say, really, really impressed by them. I try to be quite reserved at the sales in terms of sort of not making any judgment on these particular sort of first season and European stallions until we get to see them in training and sort of learn about their attributes. But off what we've seen to date, I'd certainly be very, very keen to go back and support the stallion year after year on just what we've seen so far. His sire, Debawi, left an incredible mark on Australia in only just a couple of crops. Some fantastic some fantastic horses. He obviously went on to be the world-class stallion that he was in Europe, and became too valuable to shuttle down to Australia. So we never quite got the opportunity before we sort of realised how good he really was down in Australia. But I think we've got another chance here with Too Darn Hot. So I think we can sort of grab that early, recognise that, fully take advantage. So I'm certainly been most impressed across the board.
Yeah, so this filly came to me. It's a very straightforward, very nice filly to deal with. Her attitude was the key to her sort of giving me the feel that she'd go early. She was very straightforward. I've done quite a few Too Darn Hots, and one thing I'll say is they're all very professional, which she was. They're not quiet in the sense that they'll just do whatever. Like, they do have some attitude and a little bit of quirkiness about them, which is what you like to see in a nice yearling filly, but very straightforward, very strong. There's always a lot of horse under you, and they're always very willing, which I find in all the very good 2-year-olds I've broken in, that was the attributes that they all matched up with. So it's always good to see that. Her action was good, not overly big, but very strong and very forward. I'd be surprised if she wasn't at the races as a 2-year-old.
The point I like to stress is we're just lucky to have horses like Too Darn Hot in Australia. You know, big thanks to Darley, to Andrew and Madeline Lloyd-Webber for shuttling this horse. They didn't have to do that. He's by the champion sire. He's out of their champion mare, Do Re Mi. He's the champion 2-year-old. He's the champion 3-year-old. An out-and-out champion, of course, who raced in their colours. And we're very lucky to have access to him here in Australia. Of course, his own sire, Dubawi, did the same thing, shuttled down here for 3 seasons. Wasn't paid a lot of respect. I think he had an average of 75 foals a crop, and didn't come back after that due to lack of patronage. But in that time left us 18 stakes winners at over 12% stakes winners to runners, which is just elite. That's with his Australian crop, including group dominators like Shrikandi and Shamal Wind and Secret Admirer, and top mares like Catkins. Just a phenomenal stallion who, of course, then just was so elite and so valuable. He never came back to Australia, to Barwi, and now we have the opportunity to sort of make amends and use his best son. A huge feather in your cap, Gay and Adrian, for the Lloyd Webbers to approach you, and Watership Down to approach you and ask you to help them in selecting the best Too Darn Hot yearling you could find in Australia this season. Of course, we got down to 3. They end up buying his top price yearling, the $1 million filly out of Emberheart, Magic Millions later in the sale. This filly the Lusitania filly was in that top 3 group of Too Darn Hots that we'd sort of come together on. But of course, she came up so much earlier in the sale that they were prepared to wait for the Emberheart. We showed real courage in our conviction and bought this filly for $270,000, and I dare say she would have cost a lot more had she come in a bit deeper into the sale. And I think you'll agree, more than anything, the similarities between her and her father, I'm sure, was one thing that really had the Lloyd Webbers attracted to her. If you have a look at the photo there of Too Darn Hot behind me, and you have a look at the photo of the filly that we have that's doing such a good job in training, they are absolute peas in the pod, so similar. And looking forward to her representing her sire in the months to come.
It is very likely we will see our Too Darn Hot Lusitania filly at the trials in the next 3 weeks. If you are interested in getting involved, please touch base with the team.